Sanjay Malhotra, Chairman and Managing Director of REC, is with us for this quick call. Mr. Malhotra, thanks for joining in. Season's greetings to you. Happy Diwali to you and your team. You know, I'm going to start with the disbursements picture because there was a very sharp jump up. Quarter on quarter, disbursements are up 44%. Though sanctions were, of course, lower. In general, let's talk about, demand for loans. Where is it coming from? And how sustainable does it look? What kind of loan growth would you target this year?
Yeah, good morning and happy Diwali to you and your team. Always a pleasure to join you. We have again, delivered a very robust performance, as you would have seen in the results. Answering your question as to the guidance for future, yes, we expect robust demand to continue going forward. And that is because you are aware India is still a growing economy, and so there is still a lot of demand for energy. We are only 1,200 units per capita consumption, as I mentioned even previously, which is only 1/3 the global average. Energy transition is another driver for the demand, as we all try to mitigate the climate change because of concerns on climate. And then thirdly, there is a transition from fossil fuels, again because of environmental concerns, which is going to increase the electrical vehicles and along with that the electricity demand. So going forward, we expect good demand. We have grown at about 10% per annum over the last few years. And we expect, we hope that we should be able to continue to give that kind of a growth.
So can you give us some targets? Because I was looking at the generation business, the disbursements have been actually quite good. I mean, it's an almost 12% growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis, purely in the generation business. Even distribution has grown very well, quarter-on-quarter. What are the targets for the full year?
The target that we have, last year we did disbursements of more than 90,000 crore. But that was because we had the liquidity infusion scheme under the Atmanirbhar package. Because the discoms were actually starved for funds in the wake of the lockdown and the difficulties faced by the consumers in making payments. So that is going to be out this year, so we would not be able to repeat that performance, but we hope that we should be able to have disbursements in excess of 75,000 crore, which was the number in the year prior to the previous year.
Okay, 75,000 crores of disbursements. That's the target for the year. Got that. Also, Mr. Malhotra, now REC is the nodal agency, I think, along with PFC for this discom scheme, right? The new package which was announced, 3 lakh crores after Uday, I think it's the next major scheme to overhaul discom health. Have you started disbursing under this scheme? Because it's linked to, I think, certain parameters this time around, better metering and things like that, better efficiency. What's the progress?
Yeah, so the scheme guidelines have been announced, and the discoms now have to submit their proposals for loans. It is, as you have correctly mentioned, it is linked with reforms, and so along with their proposals for loans and for projects for CAPEX, they will need to submit an action plan for improving their operational performance as well. And so that includes reforms on the side of tariff, that includes governance reforms, that includes a very, very major component of technology, primarily for the metering, billing and correction. And so we have smart meters. About 50% of the outlay of the 3 lakh plus crore scheme is on smart meters. So they are preparing these schemes. The deadline for submission of the plans is 31st December of this year. And once we have these plans, we are going to appraise them, we are going to sanction them, and so the disbursements are going to start only in the fag end of the last quarter this year. and that's going to be an advance of about 5% of the total grant portion, and so that's going to be a very small amount. But yes, next year onwards we can see good investments and good disbursements under the scheme.
The Power Ministry has asked for speedy resolution of stressed assets. Just want to understand what are the projects that could get resolved perhaps in the next few months, and what is the quantum of resolution that one should look forward to?
Yeah, so we have done quite well insofar as managing our net, our NPAs are concerned. You would have seen last year we resolved 4 assets and we reduced our NPA by about 5,000 crore. This year, the first 6 months have been a little slow because of COVID and the time being taken in the NCLT. But we have now approvals for 2 projects, and another 2 projects are in advanced stage in NCLT. So this year, and 1 we have already done. So this year we are expecting resolution of 5 assets. Another asset we expect it to be liquidated. So in all 6 assets, 2,400 crores of resolution and 1,200 crore of liquidation. So 3,600 crore should be out of NPA from the gross block of about 18,000 crore. And then we have many more projects even in for the next year. About 3 projects totaling about 1,200 crore are expected to be resolved next year. So we are working on that, and we are hopeful that we should be able to reduce our gross NPA. Hopefully we don't have many new NPAs, and so with that caveat, we should be able to reduce our gross NPA this year.
Mr. Malhotra, we hear what you're saying, and that would be great. I mean, if you have resolution to the effect of 3,000 plus crores, but at the same time, your provisions are still high. Whether I look at it compared to last year or even the last quarter, your provisions are around 1,100 versus 800 earlier. So what explains the higher provisioning? And if you're saying you want to reduce the gross NPA level, I mean, is there any rough estimate? Could it come down to, let's say, 4%, maybe even below 4% if these plans succeed?
You are right. You are right. You are absolutely right. We have been a little conservative in provisioning. Our provisioning now is for our substandard assets is more than 67%. And these 4 assets that I was talking about, which are getting resolved, we expect a reversal. We expect a reversal of about 100 crore in provisioning. So you are right that we have been a little on the cautious side. Similarly, even then in the next year, the 3 assets that we expect to resolve, we are because we have already got bids for them, and so we are expecting that there is going to be reversal. So basically, we are on the cautious side, and that's why you see that there is an increase in the provisioning.
Okay, all right. We leave it at that. Thanks a lot for joining us and giving us, your view on the